All right, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about, I think, one of the things that is very important when considering why a lot of us got caught up and entangled with narcissists and narcissistic type people. More importantly, even more so moving forward, why trusting your judgment and your instincts is going to be paramount and very pivotal to, you know, being able to properly guard yourself from those who don't have the best intentions for you. Right? Now, with dealing with narcissists and toxic people, your judgment and instincts are some of the most, if you want to call it, valuable tools you possess. These internal signals act as your emotional and cognitive guides, right? And it's going to help you to navigate through complex and often manipulative behaviors of narcissistic type people, right? So trusting your gut can protect your emotional well-being, and it can also help you set the right boundaries to protect yourself, right? And make the best decision that serves your best interests. It's what a lot of you fail to do, because some of you want to be so fair and you don't want to come off as looking like a bad person, or you don't want to come off as selfish. And this is where you get yourself into trouble, because there's a time and need for those things to be at play. Sometimes you have to display a certain amount of selfishness, a certain amount of extra caution, right? A certain amount of focus on your own self-interest. Some of you run blindly once you start to like something, once you really, agree with something or one thing here or there, you run blindly head on into a situation that doesn't serve your best interest, or it's not going to in the long run. So understanding these narcissistic behaviors and applying, the right judgment and stuff will help you greatly. We all know that narcissists themselves, they exhibit that grandiose sense of self-importance, right? So they're always going to put themselves at the top. This is the thing that most people forget. They're always going to put themselves as number one, no matter what. Their lack of empathy means they don't care if it's unfair. They don't care if you're doing most of the work and they're not holding the end of their bargain, and they don't even intend to. They don't care. That doesn't bother them because they lack remorse. That manipulative and exploitive behavior is what's always going to keep them targeting people who are more vulnerable, right? So interacting with narcissists can be challenging because their actions often undermine others, right? And it'll also affect your self-esteem and your sense of reality, right? So they'll gaslight, deflect all types of things, or they'll use emotional manipulation to control a situation. Now, trusting your judgment when you see this and your instincts, trusting these things is crucial. It's critical, very, very important. Intuition, if you want to look at it, is more of a survival tool. Your instincts are often informed by your subconscious mind, and it gives you cues that your brain picks up. Even if you aren't consciously aware of them, when you sense something is off, It's often because your brain, your mind has detected a pattern of inconsistency, right, within that narcissist or that toxic person's behavior. Something's off. Wait a minute. It's like you get that first, what we call red flags. It's trying to tell you something. And many times people don't listen. You don't listen to it. And so one of the first things people get in, they'll say, well, I saw this, but, and I seen that. I saw a red flag here and there, but what happened? You kept going against your better judgment. One thing, folks, you have to understand, because, with men, a lot of our weakness is rooted in visual, right? We're rooted in visual, which can lead to captivating us with pleasure and sensuality. But women, women's weakness is language, how things sound, how it moves them emotionally through the spoken word. One thing is that energy does not lie. Energy doesn't lie. If you're getting an off feeling about a person's energy, go with the energy first, right? You don't have to judge or condemn the person, but it brings that sense of awareness. Okay, I need to be more alert here, right? Energy doesn't lie. Language is primitive. The person can tell you anything that sounds good or that goes along with what you already want to hear or what you think about yourself, and just feed into you with that, right? Language is primitive. A lot of times before a person says anything, even open their mouth, their behavior and the energy that they're giving off is going to tell more about them than anything. People overlook it all the time. Certain behaviors are consistent with certain patterns and types of people. Patterns don't lie either. So if you see the behaviors and the patterns matching, more than likely they are that way. No matter what they say that's opposite, you have to be aware of it's consistent with certain behaviors because of the patterns of how that person acts and behaves, right? That's going to form their energy. And if you're gullible to words, to language, you'll be easily captivated by a narcissist, a con artist, anything. If you're not critically thinking and thinking beyond just the surface level. So, preventing emotional manipulation. See, narcissists are skilled manipulators who can distort facts and emotions to serve their agenda. Your gut feeling, right, your intuition can serve as a checkpoint, helping you discern the truth from manipulation. It also empowers your decision making. In challenging situations, trusting your judgment allows you to make choices based on your values and needs rather than being swayed by the narcissist's agenda, by them patronizing or them coming up and just basically it appealing to whatever you want to hear. Right? It's also going to maintain the right emotional health. Consistently doubting yourself in the presence of a narcissist can lead to anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem. Paranoia even. Trusting your instincts is going to preserve your emotional resilience. You have to have emotional resilience. Right? So the reason why being able, see, the more situations you get into where it ends up being a failure, it it damages your self-esteem and confidence, which is also going to affect your judgment, your judgment making abilities. You're not going to be very sure at what you decide on many times. You're going to question a lot of your decisions instead of being confident beyond reasonable doubt. You'll be shaky with it. You'll flip-flop. That type of behavior usually leads to that door being open and shut and open and shut and open and shut, with toxic type of people running in and out of your life, all of your life. So at a certain point, you're like, I got to get rid of them. Then you open up back to them later because you feel differently. And that's because you're not trusting in your decision and your judgment. Failing to rely on that when dealing with, especially with narcissists, can lead to some serious emotional and practical consequences. You'll be subject to manipulation and control. Because without trusting your judgment, you may become more susceptible to their manipulative tactics, like gaslighting, especially love bombing and guilt tripping. You're going to lose self-worth. Ignoring your gut feeling often leads to self-doubt, like I said. And as you begin to question your own perceptions and reality over time, this is going to erode your self-esteem tremendously. Some of you may develop toxic dependency. And by disregarding your instincts, you might unconsciously reinforce the narcissist's control over you, leading to a toxic cycle of dependency of that very same damaging person. You'll develop a certain disposition to have unhealthy relationships, because failing to trust your gut can result in staying in harmful relationships longer than necessary, which can take a toll on your mental and emotional health. Another thing that happens is people have a delayed recognition and response to abuse by not trusting, by not having these things in order. Many people in relationships with narcissists or abusive people fail to recognize abusive patterns because they second guess themselves, or they've been in these type of situations for so long and so much that they don't recognize when they're dealing with a toxic person. So they remain put in those situations. Then you have the stress burnout. Constantly ignoring your internal warnings can lead to a lot of chronic, stressful, and exhausting situations, making it harder to cope with challenging, with challenges, at least, dealt by the narcissist. All right? You got to be able to pause and reflect, folks. Take a moment, really assess things. Critical thinking is a skill that is starting to be non-existent. People do not critical think. A lot of times they're allowing others to think for them through others' opinions about things. And if it sounds right to them, or if it goes along with what they think it is or want to hear, they're going to run with it. Right? And that's just not the way it is. You have a set of internal tools to already deal with those type of things yourself, but you have to tap into it. You have to slow yourself down. Slow your thoughts down. A lot of you have racing thoughts that keep going. You have thoughts here, thought there. Thoughts are everywhere. Slow yourself down. Try to focus on one thing at a time only. And if it's too many, just zone out, push it all to the side. You're not ready to deal with it right now, and that's fine. Versus stressing yourself over it, building up even more anxiety, crippling your internal protective faculties that help you deal with these type of individuals. Your judgment and instincts are powerful tools, and they can help you. They can help you navigate through relationships with narcissists and all types of people. But you have to learn how to trust it, right? And trusting your gut is going to enable you to maintain your autonomy, protect your well-being, and make better decisions that align with your own values. And it's not going to happen overnight, right? Because if you haven't been able to trust yourself, or you've doubted yourself or for a lengthy period of time, it's not like, boom, overnight, you're going to be able to instantly trust your decision with absolute confidence. But this is just something that I wanted to put out so that you can at least start considering and thinking about it. Anyway, that's all I have to say for this message. If it resonated with you and you feel like it helped you, please consider to like, share, and subscribe, right? And if you want to be able to tap into your own situation, learn more, consider booking a consultation with me. Just click the link in the description box. My email is there. Shoot me an email. I'll get you information on how to go about doing that, all right? Till next time, have a good one. Stay safe out there, folks. We'll talk soon.